and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to understand a new chapter, a replacement model for the subject of operational research. Me, Jamaksh Manik Variawa, an assistant professor in Government Engineering College Damman, affiliated with Gujarat Technological University. So in our today's session, the content will be introduction about what is replacement theory, failure mechanisms of equipment which include gradual failure or sudden failure. In sudden failure, there are three types of failure: progressive failure, retrogressive failure, or random failure. Then the last will be the types of replacement model problems. So let's get started. Now, operational research is used in the decision making process of replacing a used equipment with a substitute, mostly a new equipment of better usage. Means what is operational research is giving us? It is giving us an idea of when to replace our equipment, right, with a new one so that we can use it in better way. For an example, if you are using a cell phone, right, so as the time passes you have to replace it with a new one. So it will give, this replacement theory will give an idea of when to replace your particular equipment. The replacement might be necessary due to deteriorating property or failure or breakdown of particular equipment. Why replacement may be necessary? Because your equipment is having a deteriorating property, means as the time passes the particular property of this particular equipment is decreasing, or due to sudden failure or breakdown. The replacement theory is used in the cases like existing items have outlived, or it may not be economical anymore to continue with them, or the items might have been destroyed either by accident or otherwise. That means whenever the equipment has outlived its particular time, that means if for an example I had an uh, bulb which has been given me for 2 years, that it will work for 2 years, now it is working for last 3 years, so it time has been outlived, now it has to time we have to replace it, because now maybe it is not economical anymore because it is consuming much more energy rather than providing the output. Okay, so or otherwise some accidentally it is broke down or otherwise. Now let's see a graph over here. We can see a graph of cost with respect to time over here. Okay, now in this graph you can see there is a three curve. First one is in green, that is scrap or resale value. Second one is a red one, that is running or maintenance cost, and the third one is a black one, that is total cost. So let's talk about this particular, firstly scrap or resale value. So let's again take an example of an cell phone. Now you, in the today's date, you had brought an cell phone of an 10,000 rupees on this particular date having some XY time. Now what you will do, I mean after using at certain time, for an example you had used for 6 months, so from 10,000 its resale value might decrease to 9,000. From, if you increase again 6 months it will decrease to 8,000, 7,000, and so on and on. As the time passes its resale value of the scrap value keeps decreasing. Now for the red curve over here, the running or maintenance cost, what will happen, the running or maintenance cost will keeps increasing like this way. That means on today's date you are having a cell phone, no issue, but after 6 months might be there is a issue in display or issue in sound or issue in anything else, then you have to give some input, some running or maintenance cost to this particular equipment. So this particular running or maintenance cost will keeps on increasing as the time passes, right? So now the curve of scrap or resale value or the running or maintenance cost, these two curve will intersect at one point, as you can see over here. Now what is happening in total cost is a very important thing. The total cost at the beginning to a certain period of time keeps on decreasing. As you can see, the total cost is keeps on decreasing, but at a point of interaction where this particular point is there, the total cost then start to increase rather than to decrease. So this is the time where you have to replace our model, right? Where we have to replace our equipment. So this is known as optimum replacement cost. Okay, this is known as optimum replacement cost. That means I will have an idea that I have to replace in 2 years or 3 years and 4 years and so on and on. Okay, so this will gives an idea that what cost you will be how to optimize and what is the time that you have to optimize. Okay, now moving forward, failure mechanisms of equipment. It includes gradual failure. The mechanism under this category is progressive, that is a the life of an item increases, its efficiency deteriorating. That means, for an example, let's say a bearing, a piston, automobile tires, machine failures. These are not suddenly breakdown. As you uses your tire for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, or your bearing for 1 year, 2 years, what will happen? It will decrease in efficiency with respect to time. So when its efficiency or productivity is decreasing with respect to time, this kind of thing is known as a gradual failure. Now if gradual failure happens, what will be caused due to that? It will increase expenditure for operating cost, right? Decrease equipment productivity, decrease in the value of the equipment. Okay, so these are the examples of gradual failure. Now let's see a sudden failure. So this type of failure is applicable to those items that do not deteriorate markedly with service but which ultimately fail after some period of time of using. That means this kind of failure does not deteriorate with respect to time or service, but it will suddenly fail. So for any particular type of equipment, the period from installation to failure is not equal but will follow some frequency distribution which may be progressive, retrogressive or random in the nature. That means the failure occurs in this kind of sudden failure includes progressive failure, retrogressive failure and random failure. So let's see first of all what is progressive failure. So in the progressive failure, in this sort of an failure, the probability of failure increases as the life of an equipment increases. That means the probability, the chances of failing of this kind of equipments are increased by increasing in their life. Examples are electrical light bulb, automobile tubes. The much you use, the higher the probability of failure of this equipment started. So the next one is retrogressive failures. Some equipment may prone to failure with high probability in the beginning of their life. Means there are certain equipments which has a huge chance of failing in the beginning of their life. And the time progresses, the probability of failure falls down. But as the time goes by, the probability of failures keeps on decreasing. The capability of equipment to survive in the beginning of life enhance its probable life. Industrial equipment with this type of distribution of lifespan is exemplified by, let's see an example of this kind of an failure. Okay, like an aircraft engine. So at the time of testing of aircraft engine, when it is constructed, the chances of failure in the beginning is so high, but after the it is done, the as the time passes, the probability of failure of this kind of equipment is very less, right? So this kind of failure is known as an retrogressive failure. Then the random failure. Under this failure, constant probability of failure is associated with the equipment that fails from random causes. Now under this kind of thing, what happens? It is happened due to sudden physical start, not related to the age. It is happening due to physical shocks, not due to the age of it. So like for an example, if we are using some TV or refrigerator or something like that, then it has a huge period of time age of there, but due to sudden shocks, sometimes voltage increases, the current has an fluctuation, so this kind of thing can break down our equipment. Examples are transistors, semiconductor elements, glass made items and etc etc. Now there are types of replacement problems. So type 1 includes replacement policy for item deteriorating gradually with use of time. That means there is a decrease in efficiency of the equipment but without the change in value of a money. Okay, like for an example, if we purchase a let's say a bike, then its efficiency may be decreased but the value of that particular equipment might not that much decrease with respect to time. Now the type 2 replacement policy for items deteriorating with time but the money value also changes it. Now what is this? That the deteriorating will be there. That means it efficiency will decrease but also the money value will also decreases or changes. There are type 3 replacement policy of items breaking down suddenly, which includes individual replacement policy, group replacement policy. Okay, this is happened due to suddenly breakdown. And type 4, it is a staff replacement. So thank you everyone. I hope I had cleared out what is replacement theory. In the next lecture we will see the numerical for our replacement theory. Okay, thank you so much.